We are out in the RC shed today for part 2 of the patina video. Now, I was going to try to do this all in one video, but I realized that the first video was just a few seconds over 30 minutes long, and I figured it was probably best to break this up into 2 videos. So I've only done one thing to this chassis or this body since off camera, since I did the first video. Now this is 2 days later. I've been busy, I haven't been able to get back in here, so this thing has been sitting in this shed. It's kind of hot in here. I've got a couple fans blowing today because it's hot in the south this summer. It's August, and yeah, it's to be expected. The only thing I have done to this thing off of camera is I ended up gluing the wing onto, into my video last time it broke, and I ended up just kind of going with it. I ended up gluing this part on and ended up kind of using my hobby knife, and I cut a squiggly line on that to kind of make it look like a legit break. So, and glued that sucker on. Other than that, man, this thing's just been sitting here drying, and after that AK product dries, like as you can see, it just kind of takes on a life of its own, man. It's a good product. But if you are watching this video and you are from Small Scale Drifters, the group on Facebook created by Chris Lewis, like and subscribe to this channel, like I said on the post, and your name will go into a pot, and we will have a drawing, and I will send this thing to somebody to use on their 24 scale drifter. So just thought it'd be a cool thing to do, kind of gain some interest, and kind of get this channel running. I'm not just gonna dedicate this channel to the small scale RC drifting. I'm gonna do other RC stuff on it. I'm gonna do real car stuff on it, maybe some hiking, maybe show you guys this beautiful area that I live in. It is, talked about by the locals to be God's country because it is absolutely stunning. There are mountains everywhere and beautiful trails and waterfalls, but yeah, this channel is not gonna be just solely for RCs. We're just gonna kind of put a little bit of everything on there, So that being said, I'm gonna get started on this thing right now, and we're gonna try to look at putting in the headlights and putting in some of the windows. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any kind of aging look to the windows or not. It's all personal preference, but I didn't put any in on the Fugimi build, I call it, because it just didn't need it. Drag it out real quick. That body just, man, it looks so cool with the clear windows and being able to see into the, and see the motor and all that stuff, man. Like, it just didn't need it. So, unfortunately, I cannot do the roll down windows on this Porsche body. As you can see, the windows are one piece. So, I did notice this before and I didn't do anything about it, but you could still do this later on. If I send this body to one of you lucky guys that we're going to win this, you can take your hobby knife and cut this sunroof out, moonroof, sunroof, whatever you want to call it, and it's open on the glass as well. I think that would be cool, because you could be able to look down and see all your electronics and stuff on the inside of the car. So, like I said, if you are from Small Scale Drifters, let me know in the group that you've subscribed and liked the post. Key and your name will go in a pot. Try to send this thing to one of y'all. Just thought it'd be a cool thing to do. So right now I'm gonna get some things out, and we're gonna try to put some of the windows and lights and other stuff in, and see if we can get this thing looking like a scale model. Kind of trying to look at these headlights and see how they go. And it took me a little while to figure this out, but if you don't have a pair of these hobby pliers or hobby snips, whatever you want to call them, I suggest you get them. They really make building these models a whole lot nicer. If you just kind of wiggle these things off and break them off, they just don't, I don't know, it's not as clean as if you take these pliers and just kind of clip them, you know. And then after you clip them, you either need to take your hobby knife or a tiny file, or, you know, something of that nature, sandpaper, something, and try to clean it up a little bit, because it will still leave some plastic around the edge of it. So I'm gonna take a quick pause and kind of clean these things up a little bit. I don't feel like that is very interesting to watch, and get these things set up and ready to install, and I will be right back. I'm back in here for a minute and let you know, sometimes when you're doing these models, I've run into this. Depending on how much paint you have painted it with, it is best to test fit some of these pieces, like your lights and other pieces, to see if they fit in there real good, because you might have to do some sanding or filing on them to get them to actually fit real nice. And also, this tip might help y'all. I like to take a toothpick. It's wooden, won't scratch, and that's what I try to like push some of this stuff in there with, to keep from marring it up and making it look all bad. So definitely test fit some of these pieces before you get all crazy and drag the glue out. Sometimes, Lord knows it's happened to me a bunch. And once you drag the glue out, it's really easy to mess things up so bad you can't get them back. So one day I hope somebody comes up with a model glue that will actually wipe off and not really mess things up if you over glue, or I don't know, it's gotten to the point anymore I get straight nervous when it comes time to put the glass in. Like I have had some major foul ups trying to put glass in these things. A lot of times I don't even pull the glass out of the plastic bag until it's actually time to use it. Man, you can set these pieces of glass down on a table, and next thing you know, they've got scratches all over them. So just throwing that out there, you know. If I'm running my finger over this, I can kind of feel some imperfections in the moldings, which might need a little file to kind of help it fall into place. I like these little micro files, these little tiny files. I believe I got them at Walmart. You can probably get them at Lowe's and any other little place, but they're super good for flat surfaces. I've got a round file in the package, but man, you could take off very minute pieces of material and kind of do them in a controlled manner with these things. So it's kind of, need to invest you in a set of these. They're not expensive. I use them quite a bit for a little bit of everything, to be honest, man. They'll file metal, plastic, whatever. And like I said, they're cheap. Buy you a couple sets, you know. But I'm gonna keep kind of messing with this thing and fitting these, and then I'll be back when I've got something to work with here and kind of show you my next step. I'm debating on how to do my light buckets, my headlight buckets, in this fugimi, I guess is how you say it, model. They come, you know, with these individual little light buckets. And in the past, I've used these chrome markers. I'm not sure, I don't necessarily have a link to them. I actually bought these at my local hobby shop. They are Fly C is what appears to be the company name that makes these. They are high gloss liquid chromium marker, what it says on the bottom of it. These things are fantastic. They will chrome. The kit that I bought at my hobby shop actually had 3 in a set, and you can chrome anything. I'm talking like you can chrome Lexan bodies, you can chrome anything. You can do your mirrors with it, the glass part of it, and you can chrome the whole car with these things. These things are fantastic. I've thought about using these, or since I'm doing a patina job, I've thought about just using some Indy Silver. I've got some left over in a can up here. I've thought about spraying these buckets down with it. It will give more of a... Actually, the Indy Silver I have is also for a Lexan body. It's not for the plastic models. It's got the... that's an old one too. Testers. Original RC formula. It's a lacquer racing finish, it says, for polycarbonate. So you can use paint for polycarbonate on your plastic models, but it is not going to have a high gloss shine like it would be on a Lexan or a plastic shell like you would use for, you know, your other RCs. I've learned this kind of the hard way, but they actually make paint. I'll show you. So a lot of like Tamiya paints, it'll say for polycarbonate or it'll say for plastics. So you want to try to use the paint for plastics on these models. It just turns out better. But if you have the polycarbonate paint and that's what you use, it'll work fine, but it'll be more of a dull finish, and it just won't have the luster that the plastic paint will. So just keep that in mind. But on this project, I wouldn't mind using this paint that's for polycarbonate on these, because I'm not necessarily looking for that high gloss shine on this. You know, it's a patina body, so it's kind of a compromise I'm willing to use. So I believe that's what I'm going to end up doing, is I'm going to spray a light coat of this Indy Silver, which I don't know if you've ever used it. I've had this can forever. I might even have to clean the nozzle out on this thing. It's pretty gnarly looking. I don't even know that it'll spray. But anyways, that's I believe that's the way I'm leaning. Just paint all this. So anyways, just throwing that out there as I go along, and that way what I'll do is I'll end up adding some rust probably to the outer lip, because as I'm looking at these little headlights, the plastic lens fits inside the bezel or the bucket, whatever you want to say, and then that whole assembly fits in it. So I want it to kind of look old too, so I believe that's the route I'm going to go. I've thought about also doing the yellow on the back side of the lens, just like I did with the Fukushima build. The super glue actually hazed it up, and you know, since it's a patina body, I'm not even mad about it. You know what I'm saying? It's if it hazes up, that's great, because it's supposed to look like it was out in the field forever. So yep, I believe that's the route I'm going to go. Stay tuned. Oh, look there, so I've got a mirror loose. I've already glued it. Looks like I'm going to have to re-glue that. But yep, stay tuned. Noticed that there is no glue-in mirror insert in this model kit. So what I've done, I got a little piece of something stuck on there. So what I've done is I've took my chrome pen that I was telling you about, and I have literally just colored my model where the mirrors are. Well, shake it up a little bit, get some ink on it, and yeah, so you end up getting you a good mirror surface. Let's see on the other one. So yeah, you can do it while the mirrors are in place. And oh, I got a bug trying to get on me. Too hot to leave the door shut, so I do live in the woods. But yep, that's how I've done my mirrors. So alright, we're going to work on the headlight buckets. I will be back. I will show you stuff as it is interesting to watch. I'm not going to show you every single bit of the process because you will be bored out of your mind. So it is a hobby. Take your time. Do a good job. People like to see it when it's a good job. Alright, I have coated the back side of my clear glass headlight with, once again, it is 4 polycarbonate. Don't panic. It's a patina job. It's going to work for what I need it for. It would probably be best if you did use, you know, the 4 plastic paint by Tamiya. I'm a big fan of Tamiya paints. They work really well for these models. So while I am letting that dry, I also did the buckets in the Indy Silver. They're going to turn out really good. So what I've got is some Tamiya acrylic paint, and this is a clear red, and I've got a clear orange for my tail lights and my turn signals. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take just, you know, a small brush, and I am going to be very careful doing this. I'm going to paint the actual model, and then I'm going to put the glass taillight piece over it. It's gonna, you could, I guess, paint the back side of the glass and put it in there too, but I kind of like the effect it gives when you do it this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause on it again, get that painted, and see how she turns out in a minute. I've got the red painted in there, you know. It even looks like I've gotten a little wide right there, but the glass should slide right over that and you'll never see it. So it's the beautiful part about a patina job is you don't necessarily have to be perfect on all of it. So I've got a few different ways that I glue these things. I'm a big fan of Tamiya extra thin quick setting model cement and their regular thin cement. Big fan of those. They don't leave a mess if you get a little bit too much on them. But when you're drifting, if you make contact with a wall or another car or something, there is a slim possibility that you could leave your headlight, tail light, whatever, laying on the ground where you made the impact. It's no big deal if that happens. Just try to, you know, make sure you pick up your pieces and try to glue it again, you know. So just throwing that out there. Being that this is in such a tight spot, I might try to use this type of cement so it'd do a little cleaner of a job. But I've also found, I'm a big fan of the Loctite brands, the Loctite Super Glue Ultra Gel Control. Big fan of that one. And recently I have also found this Extra Time Control Gel by Loctite. This stuff doesn't leave the haze as bad. Sometimes if you use this super glue and say you let it dry overnight, you'll come back and say if you glued your glass in, you'll come back and there'll be this frosty haze all over everything even remotely close to what you glued. I guess the fumes coming off the glue. That's never a good feeling to see that, because especially if it's on the inside of something, because it's a pain in the ass. You can't get it off, and it just looks like crap. So this stuff right here doesn't leave it as bad, you know. So I've had a little bit of luck with this. But that being said, you stick your thumb in this sucker and accidentally grab a hold of the side of the model, and you'll end up leaving yourself a big problem. That's exactly what happened to this build. Big thumbprint right in this area right here. Yeah, so ended up trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, like I told y'all. Oh, dropping stuff. But just throwing that out there. To each your own. If you've got a better way, put it in the comments. Let me know, because I am all about learning different stuff on these. I have never been a model guy until these small scale drifters. You know, the small scale drifters came around, and now I'm a model guy. I like them. So I am learning every single day. By no means am I an expert. YouTube is a fantastic tool for these little models, because there is a ton of people out there posting how they're doing these things. Learned quite a bit by watching those. So, you know, don't be afraid to type it in on YouTube and watch a video. You know, you never know what you can learn. You can learn how to change a radiator on a 2012 Dodge Durango, or you can learn how to paint a model, or you can learn how to frame a house, or you can learn how to, who knows, you can learn how to build a homemade 12 gauge shotgun. I'm sure it's all on there. Just saying. So use everything you got at your disposal. You know, you've got no excuse in 2023 of not knowing how to do something, because the info is out there. So I'm gonna clean my brush out and get ready to do some orange, and then hopefully my headlights will be dry and we can do some of that. Getting my Tamiya clear orange put in here for my side markers. I'm going to do those just like I did the tail lights. While I'm doing this, I just want to say, guys, I really thank you for all the support that you guys have given me on the small scale drifters. Guy the other day saying he was a fan of all my builds, man. Like, that warms my heart, bro. Like, seriously. That I have never felt more of an actual member of a group than I do this Facebook group, Small Scale Drifters. Man, you guys are absolutely awesome. Like, I can't stress it enough how out of all of the groups on Facebook, this one is by far my favorite, because everybody's just so kind and supportive. And man, I tell you, there's not a whole lot of bashing and not a whole lot of, you know, trash talk. It's just a good environment, dude. And in Facebook, shoot, that's freaking unheard of. Most Facebook groups are just filled with a bunch of a-holes and everything else, man. So hats off to all of you guys and small scale drifters. I really appreciate y'all, like, more than you'll ever know. Dab my glue in there. Now with this glue, this is the way I've been doing it. I could be wrong, I don't know. But man, I literally, after the headlight is in place, I will take the glue and I will just dab in a corner, and you will literally, since it's so thin, you'll see the glue run the entire line. Sometimes it slips completely behind the headlight, just like it did in this one. And man, it's in there, you know. I've had some of them fall out before. It just happens. Depends on what kind of lick you take. But you know, if it does, like I said, just try to get over on the track or wherever you're drifting and try to find your part. Glue it back in. You can chew my tail out later, but I'm gonna use my little toothpick poker. Oop. I'm going to go ahead and pack this tail light in. See, I'm not necessarily getting a crazy red look. The red is in there though. You can see it. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that type of, kind of like the effect it gives, you know? The red's back there behind it, especially if you add some lights to it later, which is always cool. And you take that grinding tool, like I did the rust in the first video. If you take one of those little die grinding wheels or whatever you want to call it, let me see if I can find it. You take one of those, you can literally put it in a Dremel, and wherever you're going to put the light, scrape out the little spots, and be careful not to go all the way through and hit the lens, and you can literally put your lights in there. RC Supremacy sells some lights made by Scale Reflex that are fantastic. Scale Reflex Progressive Concepts Reflex mini lights for 124, 127. It's a 10 LED kit, and it directly plugs into any micro receiver. So part number 700510. Man, if you haven't checked those things out, do yourself a favor and check them out, because they are awesome. I've got a set in my first RC build, and they are so bright, and they are so, I mean, they're awesome. I can't say enough good things about them. So if you hadn't checked those things out, check them out. RC Supremacy is where you'll find them. I'm sure you can find them in another couple spots, but go check out my boy Brad. He's a good one. And I am going to let this glue dry. I'm going to glue this one up, and then we'll have a look at the light buckets. Patina, so you can watch it. You can watch it run the whole length of the light. I'm gonna do another little, ooh, patina. See it run the length? Man, that's awesome. That is so awesome. And it's a patina job, so like, you know, if it gets a little screwy, man, it'll be fine. So anyways, let's get this thing glued up, and I'll see you here in a minute. I had to go do some things, so it is later in the day. All right, I thought I was recording too just then, but I wasn't. So I've actually glued the headlights in already. As this channel goes on too, I'm gonna probably set up a little something better for viewing this. So, you know, bear with me. So yeah, I've already glued the headlights in. Oh, gosh, hit my knee. Anytime that I'm gonna glue headlights, something like this in, and I've got the opportunity to just shoot it with glue on the back without having to try to push anything into it, I'll take that every time, and you can use the good stuff and you ain't got to worry about it, you know, getting all over the place and ruining the paint job. So got those in. I don't know, I'm thinking next, let's get this smaller brush and see what some of this looks like on those bezels. It's going to be probably pretty easy with this, so you don't get it all over the headlight, but you can wipe this stuff up, which is a good thing. You probably have to kind of wipe this just like you did when you put it on the body. But let that dry for a little bit. Shouldn't take long, dude, because it is hot in here. Man, the shed is really, really hot right now. And it is hot in the south, guys. This is what I remember August feeling like in Florida. funny. When I went to Florida, I worked for a guy one time that used to live in Florida, and told him I was moving to Florida, and he looked at me. He's like, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, why?" He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Why is that?" He's like, "Why in the world would you move to Florida in August?" And I didn't really understand what he meant, but I got down there, and it was a funny joke amongst everybody in Florida. There was only two seasons in Florida, and that was summer and August. You know, up here in the mountains, you got fall and spring and summer and winter, and nope, summer and August in Florida. I thought that was pretty damn funny. Alright, let that dry for a little bit, see what happens. Like, I don't even know if this is possible, but I don't know. I feel like I want to try. So, you know, most of these cars probably had chrome trim back in the day. Ooh. Wipe right up. Shoot, yeah. I love these little chrome pins, man. They're so cool. So cool. I've been using this thing too for quite a while. I'm definitely going to order another one when it runs out. I hope I'm not running out right now. That's pretty cool though, that you could add chrome trim around a window that easily. It's way easier though than, and it wipes off if you get it fast enough. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I can hear liquid in it. I know I got some juice in that thing. Well, I have a technical difficulty. Let me get back to you. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Like, the precision of this little pen, and I've learned that I have to kind of dab it instead of draw on it. When I was drawing on it, it was just wiping itself off. So if you just dab it and use it like it's paint, it does a whole lot better. And it's man, it's making quick work of that, dude. Like, I'm very, very surprised. And it fits. This thing probably had chrome trim back in the 80s or whatever year model this was. They haven't changed at all. .911s always look like a 911. They're probably made out of materials that don't rust too, but this one's rusty. So man, this is turning out so cool with the chrome. Alright guys, I'm gonna finish it up. I'll be back in a sec. Alright, I don't know if you can, how well you can see it, but man, it was really not hard to add chrome trim everywhere it needed to be. So keep that in mind, I guess. You know, it did good too, because the some of the rust bled through, so it kind of looks like it's old. Shoot, yeah, this is gonna look nice, guys. It's turning out good. Sometimes you just gotta experiment with it, try it out a little bit, see what you think, you know. All right, so now all I've done is get a little bit of the AK rust, made a couple light little runoffs, you know, around the mirror, around the door handle, you know, maybe off of this little corner right here, like water to be running off of it. This little light up here, which I might actually paint that with a little dab of orange right here in just a second, just to kind of give it that finished look. But next I'm going to put in the glass, and that's going to be just about it. So I'm going to send this to somebody. Like and subscribe, and let me know on small scale drifters if you wanted the crew and gonna, you know, possibly use this on one of your small drifters or something, and put your name in a pot. We'll see what happens, you know. Do the drawing here in a couple weeks. I might add some more stuff to this too before it's over with. I might go ahead and add a little bit of an exhaust, and you know, when I put the windows in, I've thought about this already. What I'll probably do is I'll probably dab just a little bit of shoe goo in there to hold the windows in. Super strong stuff. It will not let go. But if you need to get the windows back out later, say whoever gets this wants to cut the moonroof out, I'll do that. I'll leave those in there lightly, and I will more than likely not put the windshield wipers or the dash in. What I'll do is I'll send all of it in the original model box, and then if this thing for chance goes overseas, might want it right hand drive. If it's over here in the States, you might want it normal hand drive. So, you know, it's got two sets of windshield wipers, one for whichever way you make it, you know. And I believe with this kit there is also looks like a racing seat and a roll cage of some sort. So I'm sure that goes in there. That's going to be included. Everything that came with the model, the tires and what's left of the glass sheet and the whole nine. So guys, I appreciate you watching. Maybe I'll have us another one here one day shortly, and who knows, might have us a run in the real car. Who knows what we're gonna get into. We're gonna get into something though. I'm gonna start filming it. So it's good to have y'all, and catch you on the next one.